What up? What up? What up? What up? What's good, y'all? What up? What's up out there, man? We had another checkpoint in the offseason. We're getting ready for the NFL Combine. What's good, y'all? What's good? It's been a minute since I went live, but I'm here. I'm trying to commit to. I'm gonna try to commit to more frequent lives. I'm trying to commit to more frequent lives. I know live streams are good sometimes just to unload on content and unpack a lot of the things that happen. But we're in off-season mode, draft mode, man. Like the next step in the process is the combine, and that's what we got today. Sean Gomez says, "Where's the Canales presser?" It came on in a separate stream. I don't know if it got posted to their channel yet, but it's on a separate. It was on a separate stream. It may be on Facebook. It's definitely on Twitter, but it may be on Facebook. I don't know. But we're gonna talk about the things that were talked about in that presser. Double O Kane, what up, though? What's good? Y'all make sure y'all get the video a thumbs up if you have not, man. I really appreciate it. David O'Kane, what up? Talk to me nice. A few things to talk about, man. Dan Morgan and Dave Canales, new head coach and general manager, spoke at the combine, pre-combine pressers. Got some news that came out, obviously, about that. Just some updates, getting their feedback. The media got to really speak to them for the first time. So they gave some feedback. So we got to talk about the stuff that came out of it. Supernova Moore, what's good, bro? Kevin Hubbard, what up? Marco Cash, what's good? Shout out to everybody out there watching right now. Please give the video a thumbs up. Really, really helps me out in the algorithm. It does. Helps get that word out. But make sure you are subscribed if you're not a Panthers. If you're a Panthers fan, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you are subscribed. Ken Dahl, what up, though? What up, man? Y'all make sure y'all drop a what up, though. You'll get a shout out. But let me pull up my notes because Dan Morgan went first to his press conference. And he was asked the questions, of course, and he did a press conference with my guy Chris from Charlotte Vibe. Shout out to Chris from Charlotte Vibe, the man of the people. The man of the people. He's up there in Indy. He got a sit down press conference with Dan Morgan. So big ups to him, man. Really, really hustling out there, independent journalism. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my guy Chris from Charlotte Vibe. Kid Dog, I already talked to you. Panthers culture was good, bro. What up, though? We got to talk about what they talked about. It says Goku, what up, though? So, I guess the big question of the offseason that's been, he said, listen to this while you hooping. Hey, don't blame me. Don't blame me if your jumper ain't hitting. Don't blame me if your jumper ain't hitting. So you listen to this while you hooping. Or you just practicing in the gym getting shots up. But Dan Morgan, man, the question that on everybody's mind is what's going on with Brian Burns? What's going on with the contract situation? What is the move? And he was open. He said that everything was pretty much on the table. He said everything is on the table. Extension, franchise tag, sign and trade. But they're going to be meeting with Brian Burns' agent in Indianapolis at the combine this week. So he wasn't really too quick to commit to that trade. It's an option, but he said he likes Brian. He talked about Brian, him and Sam McGlover being teammates, going back to their time in Carolina. Really, really big fan of Brian and the family. Wants Brian to be a Panther, but he said business is business. Business is business. So sign and trade could be a possibility. So, I mean, I don't know. What is the number? We know that the salary cap got that extra little boost that was unexpected. We know that Brian Burns has been a lot of talk lately. It's been a lot of talk lately. I know the article report came out from Joe Person saying that Brian Burns wanted close to average of $30 million. Let me get my body armor. Dude, I got choked up. Brian Burns was close to $30 million. Internet went berserk. Saying the Panthers average of 27. We hear rumors of somebody calling in the Kyle Bailey's. Somebody called in the Kyle Bailey's local radio show in North Carolina, saying that the $27 million was misleading. Said it was more like $20 million with $7 million in incentives that were practically unachievable. So when I hear practically unachievable, it means that the Panthers would have to go to the playoffs, win the division, win the Super Bowl for Brian Burns to see $27 million. So if it's closer to 20, I can understand where that type of disdain would be. But who knows if that's true? That's just somebody calling in. It could have been anybody. Regardless, this situation, it's got to come to an impasse at some point. March 5th is the deadline for the franchise tag. They're going to be talking this week at the Combine. I don't know what day that is, but the Combine is going to span until next Monday. So there's plenty of time for discussions to be had. Plenty of for discussions to be had. It'll be very, very interesting. Dan Morgan said he would get a better feel for Brian Burns' situation after this. So we shall find out what is in store for Brian Burns. It sounds like they want to keep Brian around. It sounds like it. I want to keep Brian around. If that doesn't sound like, it sounds like that to me as well on my behalf. If you don't know, I want to keep him around. I would love to keep this defense intact, get it healthy, retool a couple positions, add a little bit more depth, shore up that secondary a little bit at the corner position, get a healthy J.C. Horn, a healthy Shaq Thompson, run it back with everybody else with Frankie and Brian. I want to see what Gerald could do in year 2 of this system. I know we transitioned from that 4-3 style to more 3-4 odd front style defense. So I think year 2 can be even better. I think we're going to turn the roster a little bit more defensively, get a little bit more type of players that Gerald wants, and we can see what something can shake. We just need to get some improvements, marginal improvements on offense. I think we can be cooking as a unit. He said your jumper wet. All right. He said your jumper wet. When we had this hoop session, this meetup at this hoop session during training camp, when we meet up, we got to see proof that the jumper is what it's up to be. You getting shots up. Trill One, what up though? Voodoo Child, what up though? Shout out to my boy Dylan on the super chat. He said this is Vegas money. Hey, we planning, plotting, and scheming for that Panthers versus the Raiders game next year. We will be in attendance. Shout out to FPFO. Season 2 launch is coming for FPFO. Shout out to y'all for putting in that work. Boy Quanch, what up though? Tim Estes, what up though? Lakeisha, hi. Said no matter how the situation turns out, they biased it. This is true. I can't even lie. Like I'm a Brian Burns fan. I would like to keep Brian Burns around. I refuse to buy a 0 jersey until they ink that extension. I do have a 53 jersey, but I want a 0 jersey. But I'm not going to commit to it until he signs that extension. I'm not. I refuse to invest to $170, $180 in a jersey until I know there's an extension in place. I'm waiting on Derek Brown to get his bag so I can get a jersey. There's a couple guys in the pipeline that I want to buy their jersey, but we're just in the transition point right now as a franchise, and I can't commit. I can't commit. But regardless, yeah, like you said, no matter how this ends up, they botched it. And you can blame Scott Fitter. You can blame David Tepper. I do. You can blame the current regime as well. But regardless, this thing is gone on way too long and without a conclusion. Because there was an opportunity at the trade deadline with the Rams, who really spend first-round picks like it's nothing. They offered 2 first-round picks and a day 2 pick for Brian Burns at the deadline. Scott Fitter said, no. Brian Burns is a staple of our organization. He's a cornerstone of a franchise. He plays a premium position, even though it was a premium price. He said no. That's fine. If that happens, you can't play hardball. You can't play too much of hardball after that. Like, why would Brian Burns take anything? If you're going to tell him that's the case, why would he take money that doesn't say that? Y'all bear with me. I'm struggling. I'm just recovering from a cold. Good Lord. I'm drinking this Mamba juice. Shout out to Body Armor. Good Lord, my mouth dry. A top-rated free agent. Why would a top-rated free agent not take market value? Why would a top-rated free agent not take market value from a team that he's given everything to? This is probably one of the most. It's annoying, but overall, this has been one of the most tame contract negotiations ever. Brian Burns has been nothing but a consummate professional. He held out 2 days of camp but showed up anyway. Has been very, very quiet on social media, despite stuff being leaked to the media in terms of price and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, this has been one of the more tame negotiations. It's annoying because it's been drug out so long and what's happened. But, like, this has not been anything nasty. Could it get ugly? It could get ugly if we wanted it to. But it's been very tame overall, in my opinion. But the franchise tag will be very, very interesting if it is used. We got where it was going to be, $24 million for a 1-year deal, fully guaranteed. It counts against the cap. We Panthers did get a boost in the salary cap with that increase, but that would be well over half into that chunk. And then you got other prospects in the pipeline that want to get extended. So it's now you put yourself in a position where you have to get a deal done, or you have to make that trade soon and very soon. Because when does the league year start? When does legal tampering start? Legal tampering period 2024. March 11th. So the franchise deadline is March 5th. If you're sticking with that and you plan on trading him, you need to get that trade done before free agency starts. It starts Monday, March 11th. So you got 6 days after that to figure out a trade. You may be talking trade at the combine, so you may be able to get some leg work there because you put in the groundwork for the Bryce Young trade at the combine. So if that's the case, you do have that time. But at the same time, you have to make that happen because eating $24 million of cap space, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to keep that on the books. You need to get an extension done to lower that cap hit or trade him to get him off the books. So you put another deadline to yourself where Brian Burns has leverage in that standpoint. So it doesn't make sense. So you really can't let this drag out. We'll see what the conversations go at the combine with Dan Morgan and Brian Burns' agent. We will see. We will see. Raymond Sanders, what up, though? Jeff Fortenberry said, love the content. Keep doing your thing. Appreciate it, man. Thank you for watching. Chris 18140, what up, though? Well, the other teams offering for Burns have not heard. There was a report that came out that some teams would be interested in giving up a first at least, which is a big step back from 2 first-round picks and a second-day pick. For Panthers, and the draft was more important, wide receiver, production or tools and potential. I got you. Interesting. A little bit of both. It just depends who's there. For certain prospects, I will look for potential. Other guys in specific roles, and later on, you need to find I would love to see production. Production can say a lot. But the Brian Burns situation, we'll see how it pans out. But I'm going to be on top of it. We'll talk about it. You guys make sure you give the video a thumbs up if you have not. We're doing a late afternoon stream. Here reacting to the presser from Dave Canales and Dan Morgan. If you have not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Appreciate it. The next big thing, Ickey Ekwonu. The plan going forward is Ickey Ekwonu to stick at left tackle. And when I had my offseason questions video, probably the last time I streamed, to be honest, we talked about what questions need to be answered. And Dan Morgan was asked about Ickey Ekwonu. And they said they're going to leave him at left tackle. He's 23. They said he's young. They say they want to see what the new regime will do. So they want to add depth and competition at all positions, but they're going to go into it with like Ickey Ekwonu at left tackle. They're going to trust the coaches. So pretty much they're taking the philosophy that Frank Reich was the issue. Head coach was the issue. Because James Campion got decent play down the stretch from Ickey his rookie year, but he fell off a cliff last year in that system. So they're saying that the system matters. We know that the Steve Wilks, James Campion, his name is escaping my brain right now. Ben McAdoo. The Ben McAdoo run first scheme was what kind of helped protect this offensive line protection-wise. So they're going to stick with Ickey at left tackle and see that there's going to be a difference. We saw the difference in coaching. Coaching matters a lot, but I'm cautious. I'm cautious. I'm not going to lie. I would definitely bring in competition, most likely from the veteran side. I would not bring in a young left tackle to compete. Maybe if you want to get a guy that plays some left tackle in college, but is mainly a guard, that's good. I would be open to that, but I would definitely bring in competition to push. Sometimes, you need guys breathing down their neck. Pressure can make a pipe burst or it can make diamonds. You need to put pressure on some of these guys. Lean on them a little bit. Put somebody behind them that's hungry. Sometimes guys get too comfortable. So you need to put pressure on these dudes. Bring in competition everywhere. You know? They talked about that they need to kind of like, and Canales talked about it. He was just like, Ickey and Taylor Moton, they want them to be more aggressive because they're going to be stressing Bryce to get the ball out in under 2.5 seconds. Under 2.5 seconds. I think there's positive correlation with getting the ball out under 2.5 seconds. Bryce Young was one of the better quarterbacks doing that. He was in the league. He was one of the most efficient ones when he did that. It also helps with protection. Short, easier passes. Let the receivers do the work. Easier to throw in rhythm when you have to throw on that quick of a clock. And it frustrates the defense when they got to get there. Because all the statistics like pass rush, win rate, and all that stuff, it's banked on 2.5 seconds. Because that seems to be a tipping point. Pass rush win rate and run block, pass block win rate, whatever, is banked on 2.5 seconds being the bar. So that seems to be a crucial spot where they want to emphasize. So they got confidence in the scheme. I don't know, man. We shall see. I'm a little skeptical. I'm not going to lie. But like I said, Ickey needs to be working on his own. There's only certain amount that the coaches can do. The system is going to matter, but Ickey needs to be putting in that work on his own. He need to be in the bat cave right now. He need to be in the lab. He need to be getting right, dog, wherever he's at. Whatever O-line mastermind camp, he needs to a personal coach and work with that. You got to get the fundamentals right, bro. Everybody's athletic. Everybody's big. Everybody's good in this league. You got to get them fundamentals down. I want to see a fresh new Ickey. Rebuild his confidence. Like we're, and I know everything is on the table at 33, but we can't afford in this rebuild to have to address left tackle again. We went corner. We got edge already. We went tackle and quarterback. We can't afford to run the clock back on this rebuild and go after left tackle. We've attacked the premium positions. We need to attack one more receiver. We can't afford to keep running back this clock on this rebuild. You know what I'm saying? So we need Ickey to get right. It's imperative for him to get right, yo. Imperative. Just what up, though? Said, Mr. Press Conference, anything major? for Canales. We're gonna talk about it, but nothing really crazy from his part. Dan Morgan really had most of the juice. Will Brown, what up, though? Wally McFadden, what up, though? What's good, man? So why can't I send long messages? Lunch break hot take, what's good, fellas? What up, though? Shout out to Just Zoe for the super chat. He said he wanted the ball out quick in 2.7 seconds. I think that philosophy will make it easier on the line too. Yep. I mean, yeah, you don't have to pass block as long if the ball's coming out quick. You don't have to pass block as long when the ball's coming out quick. You don't. You know? So it helps everybody. It helps everybody. Put Ickey in your hands. He's a 10-time Pro Bowler. Jax the Ripper, what up, though? What's good? He said, I think the line will be fine. We had a coach that was trying to sabotage us coaching them. That was just too much regression in year one. Yeah, it was a regression. It was confusing, but I don't know. Let's go back to some front office matters from Dan Morgan, because he was asked about Frankie Luvu. He talked about Frankie Luvu wanting to extend him. They want to get an extension done, saying that he embodies everything that they want. He embodies being a Panther. He's a dog. Plays with that dog mentality. High motor, plays with reckless abandon. Just a typical Panthers linebacker, man. What you think about a linebacker from the Panthers, what we've grown to know and love as fans of this team. Frankie Luvu is one of them types. He one of them ones, like the kids say. One of them ones. Looks like Josh McCown just got hired as a quarterbacks coach. Josh McCown just got hired as a quarterbacks coach for the Minnesota Vikings. Interesting. Another former Panthers coach finding a gig. Former Panthers coach finding a gig. But Frankie got to come back, bro. I told you I want to run it back with Frankie, Derek, Brian. With the healthy Shaq, I think Frankie Luvu, we can see even better Frankie Luvu. People had this, that, and the third to say about his ability. They talk about his missed tackle rate. I don't care. Missing tackles is unfortunate. You want a guy to tackle, but when you play as hard as Ickey Ekwonu, he's think about him like a home run hitter. Think about him like a home run hitter. Or a boxer that just throws haymakers. He's going for the big splash play. He's going to make a lot of big splash plays just because of his motor. His motor is going to put him out of position to the point that he may over-pursue, he may overrun, he may miss a tackle, he may get out of his gap accidentally and spring a run. Sometimes that stuff happens. But that's just the style of play that he has. Yes, you want him to be better, but like I said, he's the type that you take the good with the bad. You take the good with the bad. All those times that he shoots gaps, nobody shoots gaps better than Frankie Luvu. All those times that he shoots gaps, you know what I'm saying, gets tackles for losses in the backfield, sneak blitzes and gets sacks. That's the style of play that happens. What makes him great is what causes him to miss those tackles sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So you got to take the good with the bad. You got to take the good with the bad. But I highly recommend re-signing Frankie Luvu. I highly recommend extending Frankie Luvu. Yeah, I'm not drafting a linebacker this year. Maybe later, maybe late. I'm not spending premium capital on a linebacker. That it doesn't seem smart to me. Shout out to Dylan on our super chat. He said, "Would you rather have Higgins with a $20 million cap hit and no 33rd pick, or just take a wide receiver at 33 and go free agent?" I don't think Higgins is going for that $20 million. But I'll go with the hypotheticals. Um, I would take Higgins if he's gonna be $20 million. It's a no brainer for me because, in my opinion, where you're positioned, you have a lot better chance of finding a Z receiver in the draft than you do an X, an established like an X that can come in and make the impact of Higgins. I would take Higgins for $20 million in the 33 pick. This draft is deep at the receiver position. You can find a Z later in the draft. Higgins is going to instantly upgrade your receiver position, but you can find a Higgins. I mean, you can find a Z. You can go Roman Wilson later if you want to. Maybe you want to go Ricky Pearsall in the third if he makes it that far. You know, shoot. I don't know if Javon Baker will make it to the third. You could go Javon Baker if you wanted to. He seems like more of an X to me as well, but I would definitely take Higgins. Yes, they talked about Burns. Burns discussions will be going down this week. But another couple notes. They talked about. I told y'all over weeks ago. They asked about potentially Derrick Brown's contract extension. I told y'all that if I was Derrick Brown, I would hold out. You remember where y'all heard it first. Remember where y'all heard it first. I'm telling y'all get y'all water. You can get your water cooler talking points 3 to 5 business days in advance from your boy. I talked about getting an extension done for Derrick Brown. Then if I would hold out. Dan Morgan said they've already had conversations with Derrick Brown's agent about that. Said something they want to get done. Nobody really pushed the envelope on the priority or the timing. But I told y'all, Drew Rosenhaus is Derrick Brown's agent. Drew Rosenhaus does not like letting these dudes play on that 5th-year option if they know they have leverage. He doesn't like that. He was DJ Moore's agent. What happened with DJ Moore? There was no nasty holdout. We didn't hear anything about it. Just out of nowhere, DJ Moore got a contract. And then everybody and mama got a contract. It was smart. It was smart to do that. But Drew Rosenhaus pushes the issue. He's an experienced agent. He was Antonio Brown's agent. That bridge got burnt. But he was Terrell Owens' agent as well. He's established, bro. He's been in the game for a minute. He's going to try to get Derrick Brown that bag early. Now, what is that bag going to look like? I said it before. I think it's anywhere between $17 and $24 million. Just based on some of the recent guys that got signed, Derrick Brown's contract is going to be yearly average between $17 to $24 million. I know y'all asking where this money coming from. I don't know. Figure it out. It ain't my job. It ain't my job to figure it out. If I had the answers, I would be working for the Panthers. But they signed Brant Tillis for stuff like this. They hired Brant Tillis for stuff like this. Figure it out. But so you got Luvu needs an extension. $11, $12 million we're thinking maybe. We'll see. They had discussions last year, couldn't come to an agreement. We'll see what that number comes out to be. You got Derrick Brown anywhere between $17 and $24 million. And you got Brian Burns anywhere between mid-20s to close to $30 million average per year. How those numbers work out, there's one thing about the number, there's one thing about the cash, and there's one thing about the accounting. Everything is different. The guaranteed money is really what matters. The cash is not always what the paper says. The cash and the cap hit don't always match. You can play with it. But another thing that Dan Morgan said is that they're going to try to pull back some on doing contract restructures. Restructuring can get you in trouble at times. I like the approach. If you plan on having guys around long term and you want to assign them to an extension later, but I think that it's a viable option to create space. Now, who on the team now do you use it with? There's nobody really that you can restructure. You're going to probably have to extend Taylor Moton to get his cap hit down. His cap hit is going to be close to $30 million. You got to extend him to keep that cap hit down. I'm good with adding 2 years on his deal. Giving his son, converting some to a bonus, spreading that $30 million hit over 3 years. You can lower that thing some, give him a little bit more cash on the back end. Save some money there with Derek. You already got Shaq Thompson's contract down. Last year, he took a pay cut. You restructured it. The next highest would be Dante Jackson. Dante Jackson, unfortunately, is a cut candidate. Not unfortunate to some of y'all. Some of y'all really don't like Dante, so y'all be happy to see him go. But we're going to be looking at having to create a new something else we have to address. If we test our cornerback depth and you're counting on J.C. Horn's health. So we'll see. I don't see Dante taking a pay cut. He could be a trade candidate. He's a starting caliber corner. Played 16 games, the most that he's played, I think, in his career maybe. Stayed healthy. Got banged up, but stayed healthy. He left some games, but he stayed healthy. So Dante Jackson's situation is going to be one to monitor the closest. I think his cap is what? $15 million. If they make him a post June 1st cut, they can save what? $10 million. That $10 million is not going to help you in free agency. It'll get you under the cap later, but you still have to be under the cap until June. Yeah, please, guys, hit the thumbs up button. Pretty please with cherry on top. Take 2 seconds. If you want to support, you can leave a super chat. I really appreciate all super chats as well. Support the independent creator. But a like is free. Take about 2 seconds, 2 of them seconds. Not too much of your time. Panthers Prime, what's good, bro? What up, though? So you finally caught a live. Welcome aboard. Says Sheba Dog clapping his hands. Shout out to you for the super thanks. The super sticker, my bad. The super sticker. Appreciate you, brother. Could we trade Moton? I wouldn't trade Moton. He's the most consistent offensive lineman you got. He hasn't missed a game since he's joined the Panthers. I wouldn't trade Taylor Moton. I would just try to work, get his cap number down. Because then there's no reason to create holes. Because like I said, who's gonna take that cap hit of $29 million? I think the cap hit, it wouldn't be worth it with the cap hit to trade Moton anyway. I said the Eric Brown gonna be $21 million, probably. Do we think we should tank? No. No reason to tank. Just play ball. No reason to tank. Just make moves. Try to get as close to average as possible on offense. Like getting average play out of the offense in the same competitive and the same amount from the defense will have us competing for the division, in my opinion. I think that getting the offense up to average and having the same you know what I'm saying? Having the same production for the defense will have us competing for the division. I don't think we're that far away from competing with some of these scrub teams in the division. That's just my opinion. Now, $30 million, close to $30 million for a right tackle, that cap hit is tough. And what do you get in return for that? That's the question as well. Excuse me, 29.7. The dead cap is $24 million. That's what happens when you restructure. If you trade, you can save some money, but the dead cap is $12 million. Yeah, you would have to do a trade after June 1st to save anything. I don't think you should go all like I said, I don't think you should go all in spending money. But like if you like I said, if you can get average on offense, just average offensive line play, average receiver production, average quarterback play, average running back production, and you stay the same with the health coming back on defense, if we stay healthy on defense, I think we will be able to compete for the division. I don't think winning 6, 7 games, 8 games is out of the realm. I don't. I don't think it seems dire, but I think we're a lot more bearish on the roster compared to the NFL than what happens on the field. It's just disheartening, loss after loss, but they compete. They play hard. They don't get destroyed like that a lot of times, not too often. That's what's so frustrating. They get close, they get your hopes up. Remember how many times you got your hopes up this year that we might actually do it? Then you got your heart ripped out? No, exactly. That's why it hurts so much, because we be close a lot of times. If we weren't that close in a lot of these games, we were just getting killed, and we were wearing paper bags and stuff like that, and it just looked whatever. It'd be one thing. It's just the hope for the future just seems bad because of our owner. So I understand the future being bleak and nobody wanting to go to the games, but I don't think we're that far off, in my opinion. If they handle business, do what they're supposed to do, make smart moves, we could be up and running in 2 years, dog. I'm sorry. That's where I'm at, head wise. I'm always gonna come into it thinking that we're close. Until we ain't. Omar Tillman, what up, though? But comments also came out about the backfield. Chuba Hubbard is running back one. Breaking news. If you didn't know, Chuba Hubbard is the lead back. They put it out there. They said that we're gonna go into it with Chuba being the lead guy. No trying to hurt feelings. No trying to, well, we signed Miles to this contract. We brought him in. Um, we brought him in. We really believe what he could do. Nah. Miles is running back too. Chuba outplayed you, bro. It don't matter. Chuba outplayed you on a fraction of the money. We know Chuba's consistent. Chuba's a downhill back. Chuba's a no-nonsense back. Chuba runs hard. Chuba catches the ball now. Doesn't offer too much flash or upside, but Chuba is steady. So, Dan Morgan, no ties to Miles like that, said that Miles is going to be here. They asked Dave Canales. Dave Canales was very, very dismissive of Miles Sanders. So, if they could do something to make something shake with Miles and his deal, who knows? I don't see Miles taking a pay cut. I don't see Miles taking a pay cut. I do not. It wouldn't make sense. And I don't advise Miles to do it. It's stupid, in my opinion, to tell players to take less money. It's stupid, in my opinion, to try to think players to take pay cuts. That's just me. That's what I think. But Chuba should be a good rotational back. I still would want to add some juice Maybe in the draft, in the back end of the draft, if you can find somebody. This back class is underrated. This class of backs is underrated. But I would definitely try to add some competition, add some juice. If you can find a pass catching running back that's dynamic out of the backfield, we saw what they did with Rachaad White in Tampa Bay last year. But that's what I would do. That's what I would do. And that's what I think they should do. Said they can shake Miles up out of Charlotte. That's a win. Yeah, Chuba's a nice one. Yeah, backup. I mean, number 2 running back. Yeah, his improvement over the year has been. I mean, yeah, like that's all you can ask for. Mid-round pick, 5th-round pick, come in, get better every year. Chuba's running through running back spot defense 90% of the time. A lot of good running backs going late or undrafted. Rasheed Leon Marshall is my favorite. I think Will Shipley could be a perfect complement to Chuba. I'm not a big Shipley guy. I like Ray Davis out of Kentucky. Ray Davis. Jalen Wright is a speed guy. Is a speed guy. That he's probably going to go in a second, though, in my opinion. Let's keep it pushing. What was talked about? Breaking news. I talked about Shaq Thompson coming back. Shaq Thompson will be apparently he is on track. He is on track to be ready and healthy and cleared for OTAs. Very, very great news. Like I said, this will allow Frankie Luvu to play his best ball again. What Frankie Luvu was able to do before we're playing with Shaq, where he's able to move around, move the edge, be a blitzing linebacker. He had to change his role. Once Shaq got hurt, he had to play more of that inside linebacker. More of a stagnant position. He doesn't get to play on the edge all the time, which he can do. He doesn't always get to shoot those gaps. And like I said, those responsibilities, him jumping out of those gaps, you can't really do that when you're that main guy in the middle on this style of defense. When we're playing mainly, sometimes you have those walk-up edges. You're having sometimes a 5-man front with one linebacker, light boxes. It's a lot of responsibility and pressure on linebackers to hang in there and be disciplined. Shaq is better at that than Frankie. So having Shaq there will free up Frankie to be the versatile chess piece that we've known that he can be. So I think they have to get that Frankie deal done for sure. What is that number? Who knows? I said the market value on him is $11, $12 million on Frankie. Let's get it done. Let's get it done. Let's get this defense intact. Let's rock. Let's rock. Vidal from Troy, yep. Meion Williams. Who is Meion Williams? Oh, from Ohio State. I gotta look at his film. Because you hear about Travion Henderson, but you don't hear a ton about Meion. You hear a ton about Travion, but you don't hear a ton about that. George Chilani is a good one too. I like George Chilani. I'm a big George Chilani guy. I think he's underrated. He got a high mileage running back, but I like George Chilani out of Boise State. But Shaq Thompson being back is phenomenal news. And the pick at number 30, the moves at 33. Now, we've talked about it a lot, and I'm going to talk about it some more. I'm going to try to get some different perspectives and personalities on here to discuss the options for the Panthers at pick number 33. I'm going to get somebody on here to talk about it because there's a lot of different ways, and Dan Morgan was asked what his philosophy is, and it seems like they're going to go, like I talked about, best player available, but obviously with all things being equal, need will trump whatever. So if there's a all-star tackle, well, no, I'm not going to say tackle. Say there's an all-world, not all-world. Let's say cornerback number 3 is on the board and their wide receiver 3 is on the board that they have on their board. They don't have a need. The corner could be good, and he could probably make an impact, but we need wide receiver. So the need of wide receiver is going to trump the best player available in that standpoint. If all things being equal, they have the same grade. They have an early second round grade on the corner, early second round grade on receiver. The receiver is going to trump that. The receiver is going to trump that. So that's what best player available is. Weighted best player available is what I like to call it. You weigh the importance of the position, and then you take the best player available in that standpoint. Like I said, you don't want to draft wide receiver 8 if DN number 2 is on the board. You know. That's my opinion. You don't want to reach on receiver when there's an impact DN on the board that you could take that fell out of the first round. You know. That's why I talked about Darius Robinson in my draft, because we have to look at some options of not going receiver with that first pick. How does stuff play out? Just want to test out every scenario. Test out every scenario. Test out every scenario. But I'm open to anything. We need players. We need help everywhere. You have to see how many top 100 picks you can get from 33. It ain't as simple as plugging it into an algorithm, because, like I said before, I think I've said it before. Last year, pick number 33. The Cardinals had pick number 33 last year. Pick number 33 was Will Levis. Pick number 33 was Will Levis. And what did they trade for him? There was a trade. So the Titans moved up to take Will Levis. Tennessee, they sent number 41. So Arizona traded back 8 spots. They sent number 41, number 72, and a future third. So they went back 9 spots and moved up 10. I guess it was similar to what I did in my mock draft, actually. They moved up. They moved back in the first and moved up in the third. And then they got a third. So they didn't get a ton. They just moved up further in the third round, but moved back in the second round. So it's not as valuable as you may think or hope. Unfortunately, in reality, on these algorithms, it's all fun to play with, and it feels super valuable. But you're getting the third next year. A future third is the ultimate surplus. A future third for moving back 8 spots. Not a lot. Not a lot. Not a lot. But the third was next year. But then, like, what are you passing up? Right, what are you passing up? Are you passing up a couple receivers? Are you passing up O-linemen? Are you passing up a pass rusher? Like, what are you passing up? Maybe if you were looking for a receiver guaranteed in that second round, you like a couple guys, you fall back. Maybe you like Leggett. Maybe you like A.D. Mitchell. Maybe you like Pearsall. Maybe you like Ladd McConkey. And you think you can get them and you like all 4 of them. They're all 4 on the board. You think there's a high chance that one of the 4 will be on the board if you move back. You do it. You do it. But are you trading back just to trade back? We'll see what happens. Because Dan Morgan, he was asked about that. He was asked about that. He was asked about how close he is to Scott Fitterer. And that would have been my question. Y'all work together, y'all homies. How can you assure fans that you different? He pretty much said that he loves Scott, But Scott wasn't in Buffalo with me. We spent time in Seattle, but I was on the road. Scott wasn't in Buffalo when I was there. I thank him for coming here, but he said things are different when you have final say. Pretty much saying that he's going to be the guy calling the shots this time around. He has a little bit different experience than Scott Fitterer, being that he spent that time in Buffalo with Brandon Beane, somebody who's highly respected in the league. So we'll see. But that we're gonna find out. Maybe he doesn't want to trade like Scott Fitterer. Scott Fitterer used to trade. We'll see. Maybe they go that approach. Maybe they try to get as many picks as possible to try to flip this roster. Maybe they trade back a few times and get extra picks to try to flip the roster with young talent. I think this is more of a top-heavy draft, so getting top 100 picks would be more ideal, but maybe they just want swings at the plate. A couple more things about Dave Canales. Dave Canales, they asked him about Bryce Young, about his plan to fix Bryce Young. Dave Canales said, I don't think there's anything to fix. Y'all keep asking Dave Canales about fixing Bryce Young, and he's going to keep correcting y'all, saying that he's not broken. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. He's not going to fix Bryce Young. He wants to give him a plan. He says he's going to put together a plan, detailed plan, about how they're going to work together. He said he thinks quarterbacks will respect that when you do that. He just wants Bryce Young to do his part. They're going to put a scheme together to give him answers, give him cues, build the offense with certain philosophies, and just ask Bryce Young to do his part. They're going to change his footwork a little bit. They're going to do more play action and boots. These are things that he says. So it's going to complement receivers and complement the concepts. So Bryce Young ain't broke. He believes in Bryce. Ain't nothing to fix. Ain't nothing to fix. Bryce Young was the top quarterback last year, highly regarded as that as well, coming into the draft process. 16 games of seeing blitz packages, 16 games of seeing coverages, showed his toughness, 16 games of experience. They're going to try to attack it a different way. If you think coaching philosophy can make a big difference on Ickey, they're going to try a different approach for Bryce. Put players in position to succeed. I like it. Get the ball out quick, take care of the ball, protect the quarterback, run the ball. He talked about running the ball too. They asked him about his lack of success running the ball in Tampa. He said he looked forward to showing everybody how stubborn he can be with the run game. He also said he wants to maximize players for putting them into positions to succeed. I think running the ball will do the body good. Running the ball is an attitude. It's a big attitude adjuster. It makes statements. You can control a lot of things with the game when you can run the ball. I think that'll help open up things for Bryce and himself. What does that scheme look like, though? That's what we have to figure out. What kind of running scheme do they establish? Because they struggled with it last year in Tampa running the ball with those certain schemes. But it did talk about how they improved early in the year from 70-something yards to like 90-something. Nothing to sing home about, but he bragged about the 20-yard improvement, the 4 straight 100-yard rushing games. Basically, it seems like they have core basic football philosophies. Like I said, people get open, get the ball out your hands quick, run the ball. If they give you a look where the box is light, run the ball, get explosive plays, take care of the ball. Nothing really crazy. Literally, football philosophy. Do stuff that works. Here's what the numbers say about what happens when you do certain things. Let's do those. It's simplifying the game. I like it. Simplify the game. You know? And he talked about Ejiro. He talked about Ejiro Rivera being a big part of him being glad that he's staying around with his coaching job. because of that system, but he also talked about how Jiro's able to maximize the players that they did have. With Shaq getting hurt, they had to adjust with Luvu. Corners getting hurt, they had DiCaprio Boodle. Had Jameson at corner. You know what I'm saying? Putting guys in position to be successful, to be competitive. Do what the players do right. You have to adjust the defense after that. Do what the players do right. This is not breaking news. This is not anything crazy. This is not anything groundbreaking in terms of football. Doing what your players do well, doing more of that. Not forcing them into your system. Assessing what your players do well and lean into it. Whoa. Not groundbreaking things, guys. Not groundbreaking things. But like I said, if we can get the average on offense, man, I think it's going to put us in a position to be competitive in this division if the defense can be as competitive as they were last year. Get this offense to average, bro. That's all we got to get to is average in multiple areas. If we can get the average in multiple areas, we will be a lot more competitive. I promise you. We can't be the league's worst. We can't. But yeah, I'm another step. Today was another step. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid. It's just another step. We will see what happens. But just a couple things to note. Marshawn Nealon, an edge rusher from Western Michigan. High motor, versatile D lineman. Has some questions about his size in competition, where he's at. He's kind of a tweener. But that is somebody that the Panthers have met with at the combine. Marshawn Nealon. Keep his name in the back of your mind. He is an edge rusher that they met with. If you guys want to get any of the merchandise that I'm wearing, it's probably linked down below for the shop. You can get this hat and this hoodie, both from NFL Shop or Fanatics. YouTube has it down below the video if you want to get any of this stuff. This merch like I rock. Holla at your boy. I get a little bit of commission off of that, so shop with your boy. I think there's like 4 of these left. Pretty basic bucket hat. Very comfortable in my opinion. Very fashionable in my opinion too. You know what I'm saying? If I do say so myself. But I got to get out of here. Got a hungry baby crying in the background. I appreciate you guys rocking with me. More videos to come. In between feedings and nap time with the baby. Family's doing well. I appreciate all the super chats. I appreciate the super stickers. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.